Hi, Katie here with Georgia at our Oregon nursery, and we are talking about trends for the next year and research that we've been doing, what people will be wanting in their gardens next year. So we've got a lot of exciting things to show you. The first trend we want to talk about is what we call the Sunday garden. Maybe you want, more of an upscale look in your garden. You want to invest in a few key plants, but you don't want to do a lot of maintenance. You want to have a space that is very soothing, relaxing. Think like Nancy Meyers movies, just places that look really polished and beautiful all the time. So a few key principles about this trend are really setting up your structure with beautiful evergreens. We've got boxwood, certainly. Maybe you want to add a juniper spiral topiary for extra special touch. I'm noticing too that people are really interested in dark foliage. And we have a few plants here that have that dark foliage for contrast with your evergreens.
We do, yeah. One of my favorite plants, this is brand new for 2026. It's called Honolulu Bay Hydrangea. It's part of our Seaside Serenade collection. This is our first dark foliage variety in that collection. We love it because it blooms on both old and new wood. We trial all of our Seaside Serenades throughout the country. So you're talking about easy Sunday gardens here, and these hydrangeas are pretty easy.
So true.
Yes.
Yeah. And so weather, they can stand up to tough weather.
They can, and that's because the foliage is really thick and waxy, and so that just lends itself. It's one of the last macrophyllus on a hot day to wilt in that hot afternoon sun. The flowers as well, thick and waxy for that same reason. It really can stand up to not only that, but also to tearing from high wind, those kinds of things that can plague some of our summer gardens.
Yeah, and then you can have, with the Honolulu Bay dark foliage, you can add, a sedum would look really great in this garden, be easy to take care of.
Definitely.
And what's this plant called again?
This is called pink spike. It's an actia, a beautiful dark foliage, and then it gets this really long sort of free-flowing flower here,
lovely.
But it stays nice and compact with the foliage.
And you can see it has nice contrast with the green foliage. The other key thing we see about this garden look is the interest people have lately in climbing roses. We are really seeing a lot of interest in this nostalgic, rambling, kind of cottage rose look. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this is our Heavenly Ascent Pink. It's our climbing rose, as you mentioned. It's really nice because it's only going to be about 8 feet tall. And so, you think about those long, those big, huge climbing roses, they can be a bear to keep a hold of and make those look nice. This, because it's more compact, it's going to stay looking nice, much easier to care for. It has that really old-fashioned flower, a beautiful scent with it, but it pairs that with new breeding, which gives it better disease resistance, a longer blooming time. All of the things that we've come to know and want from our new version of roses is in this old-fashioned like climber.
This has been really popular, and a key tip for the Sunday garden trend, if you want to have a cohesive look, is match your rose bloom with your hydrangea bloom. So pick a pink flowering hydrangea, a pink flowering climber, or maybe you want to do white, like our white nitty-gritty rose with a white blooming, either paniculata or, one of our Seaside Serenades. Yeah. So Sunday garden, easy and luxe. Next trend we want to talk about is what we call patio culture. So who doesn't want to have their beautiful outdoor room, elevate the style of their outdoor room and have it really be an extension of your living space? That's what this trend is all about. And we know that more and more people are really wanting to think beyond annuals for their containers. Obviously, annuals are always going to be a great option, bring that bright, happy color. But maybe you want something that's very elegant and long-lasting. So think about shrubs that you can put in a container, for instance, and think about variegated foliage. I'm staring at this one, has so much texture.
Yes, this is black dragon. It's a cryptomeria. It's beautiful. It's good if you have a larger container. This would be beautiful. It gets pretty tall. With a container size, it'll stay in check more. So really great evergreen to add to the container for height and for that beautiful texture.
I also love the Hebes. We have a new series, the Surf series, and actually I have this one. This is Surf Break, and then we've got Surf Swell.
Yes, this is Surf Swell and Surf Break. They're both fabulous Hebe's only going to be about 20 inches tall by about 20 inches wide, so great, like you mentioned,
it looks
for
just
containers.
like, yeah, one in a pot and you're done.
Yeah, and they're evergreen, and so we're thinking about year-round, this patio culture, year-round entertaining. This would be a fabulous plant. They do have flowers, nice magenta pink flowers, and a great burst of color with its new growth as well, that nice deep dark tip.
The other key trend we see in patio culture is fragrance. This is Summer Soul Arabian Jasmine, and the fragrance, I wish that we had a scratch and sniff feature in the video because the fragrance is amazing. It knocks people out. This is a zone 9 and 11, to 11 plant, so not for everybody, but wow, think about fragrant choices, for the patio.
If you wanted to do something fragrant and you weren't, in a jasmine kind of place, you could also think about lavender. This is a great little lavender. I think this is Thumbelina, and it's great, compact, nice for smaller spaces and smaller containers, and you still get that wonderful fragrance.
That's true. So nice soothing space in patio culture. Coming over here with our third trend, we can see that people are really interested in growing edibles, but not just your everyday edibles. People are experimenting. I think, whether it's through travel, other experiences we have, we want to bring some of that sophisticated palate back to our own backyard. And so people are interested in growing different edibles and also in growing edibles in smaller spaces. So we're seeing an interest in compact varieties, such as this apple, which I know this sold like crazy last year, and we're gonna have more this year.
We are gonna have more this year. This is our fruit snacks collection of apple trees. They are so amazing. They're gonna be about 12 to 15 feet tall by only about 3 feet wide, which is perfect. That columnar compact form, great for containers, also great in the ground for smaller spaces. What I also love about these, apples can have a bad reputation for being a little bit hard, have a rigorous spraying schedule. They can get apple scab and all these different things, but these have been bred for the home gardener. So really no spraying is needed. So not only are they compact, but they are easy care as well.
I also love this strawberry. This was sort of a new surprise this year. This is Summer Breeze.
Summer Breeze strawberry, yeah. Look at the flower on that.
Yeah, so, it's edible, but it's pretty. It makes a beautiful flowering plant too.
Yeah.
Or, pomegranates, figs. We're getting a lot of people wanting to grow figs in zones where they never did before. Definitely herbs, like the little ragu, bay leaf, that's a great one. And then our blueberries are all nice and compact too.
Yeah, our Bountiful Blueberry collection. This one right here is Bountiful Delight, and it does a good job of showcasing what we're looking for here. We're looking for these almost shrub-like plants. So not only are they good for edibles, like you mentioned, but ornamentally. So you can have them as a hedge. Yeah. And they're gonna be 2 to 3 feet tall, depending on the variety, by about that wide. So excellent forms instead of getting really large and leggy and just really being for edible blueberry production. You're also incorporating it into a more ornamentally and thoughtfully designed landscape.
Yeah, and you could have one blueberry in a pot or several, arranged on the patio. We also see interest in dwarf nectarines, dwarf peaches. So look to Monrovia.com to find some of those more unusual edible varieties. Our last trend is what we call wild meets refined. So maybe you want that more natural look in your backyard or in a container, but you also want it to be low maintenance, you want it to be long flowering. So we have a mix of beautiful perennials, pollinators just love, mixed with great grasses that also stay compact, that you can mix and match in a very free-flowing, easy way.
Definitely, and one of the things that, echinacea is a great example. So this is one of our newest, it's called Sunseeker's Fuchsia. And you can see the habit on this. Not every plant is the same. Yeah. So you think of echinacea for the garden, and there's so much variety within echinacea. And we are choosing the best varieties there are on the market. So not only are they going to perform well in the garden, they're going to be great for pollinators, they're going to be lower maintenance for you. So you don't have to stake them, they don't get tall and leggy, they stay nice and healthy, and longer bloom period equals longer times for the pollinators to enjoy them. So we really like this sort of wild meets refined is a really good definition.
Good way to describe.
Like
and you'd have some agastache down here too.
Yeah.
I always think that agastache just looks so luxurious and soft in the garden too, and it's a nice contrast with the echinacea, the big sort of daisy-like, oh look, we've got some pollinators coming as we're speaking. It's a nice contrast with the daisy-like blooms of the echinacea. You get the tall spikes that are just covered, And hummingbirds love this.
Hummingbirds love agastache, yes. And the beauty of it is all this stuff a lot of it is drought tolerant as well. So that's really great. Also in this sort of natural kind of garden where you're looking for low input, low effort.
Glad you mentioned that, because that's obviously the other key trend we're seeing is people want to do something that's more sustainable, drought tolerant, heat tolerant. People are really looking for those options. I think in the grasses, we have a lot of grasses now with different foliage, different colors in the plumes. And what I like is you can kind of match, some of your perennial flowers to your grass plumes. Echoing that color is kind of it's a little touch of painting your garden a little bit and pulling things together that reinforce a color palette. But the big thing about Wild Meets Refined is that it's easy. You can, there's no right or wrong with it really. Yeah. You can mix and match.
Yeah.
So if you want to find more information about all the plants we talked about, a little more about these trends, visit Monrovia.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.